Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We get over 1,500 of these available for your listening pleasure, and we can make things go in a good way for you. This is emotional intelligence quotient is the topic of this particular audio. Would love to be of assistance to you if you're kind of trying to balance your emotions a little better. Would and the best way to do that is reach out at PO Perception on Twitter and or in the About Me section of this YouTube page. Either one will get you in touch with me or a member of my team. We can make something happen from there. First thing that you have lower EQ or emotional intelligence quotients, meaning that your emotions aren't exactly in the best of shape, is perfectionism. Look, the reality is there is no version of perfect that's going to solve every problem, which means even if you live perfectly, or your perception of perfect, that is, ultimately you're still going to have challenges in life, and the obsession with perfectionism can often, and often does, lead to challenges in a number of ways that aren't necessarily healthy, good, smart, or in your best interest. This will also cut you off from having quality relationships for the future in a lot of situations. The next thing is to look at control. So, the ability to have control of another person or a situation is often something that a lot of people get off kilter with for a number of reasons. The absence of self-control and or the desire to manipulate and control situations is also important for a number of reasons. When we begin to understand the value of um, living well, we also begin to understand that sometimes controlling other people or situations around people can be challenging for a number of reasons. The continuation of the obsession with control then also leads to those challenges being something that ultimately don't go the way we intend, and oftentimes we don't even see the value in the continuation of connectivity in a good way there. The next thing there ultimately comes down to the inability to maintain friendships, relationships, for professional and platonic, as well as romantic. The inability to maintain relationships usually comes down to trying to control others or manipulate them into being something that you want them to be without their consent, or without thinking about how your desires affect them at any level. When you begin to look at doing this from a more unbalanced level, you're also going to be more likely to put off what is best for you in terms of the time you spend. A lot of times, emotions become out of balance because the lack of a person doing what you want them to do leads you to be so frustrated that you're not exactly having a healthy dynamic within yourself, and becoming emotionally or mentally fixated on the ideas associated with how people are relating to you and each other. When those relationships begin to fall apart, the lack of self care also becomes a major challenge. The lack of self care could be not eating well, not sleeping well, not attending to personal issues, not attending to professional issues, and or finding yourself in a situation where your expectation that other people will clean up after your emotional messes can become a problem as well. It doesn't necessarily happen overnight, and certainly there are many times we can skate through and make short term excuses around things, but sooner or later, people will begin to see that you are not a person who can be trusted with the things that are coming out in the direction of the way you wish they would or want them to, and then that becomes a problem in its own right for a number of reasons. Also, it's important to begin to understand that controlling your emotions and being able to experience emotions fully, that is, feel things but not act from your feelings, is also super important. And if a person doesn't have the mental or emotional capacity to do this, they will eventually lead themselves in a direction that is not healthy, smart, or going to lead them in a direction of self resolution for the future, or in general lead them to make decisions that are in the best interest of everyone involved in a given situation. Knowing how to balance those emotional cores is also an important part of making long-term decisions, and having that long-term planning will allow you to be a person who understands kind of balancing life and success and all of those things. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.